Aim training is one of those topics that seems simple on the surface, but actually has a lot of complexity in it. Whether it's to train more efficiently or to change your approach, in-depth knowledge on how to train your aim is something that many beginner and intermediate players don't quite know. So in this video, I'm going to give you some tips that I feel are important for aim training that can help you take your aim training to the next level. What's up ProGuides fam, it's Royal G, and today we have for you 10 tips to training aim like a pro. These tips will cover how you train to how you should approach training, so all bases are covered. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's head into it. So first things first, one of the biggest mistakes many players make when they're trying to develop solid aim is to treat speed as something that trumps everything. While it's true that having a faster shot than someone else will give you an advantage, the speed is the differentiator only after another condition is met, which is precision. If you can't maintain high accuracy, it doesn't matter what your speed of adjustment is because at the end of the day, you'll just miss your shots. Especially in a game like Valorant, missing your first couple of shots is very punishing due to recoil and recovery, so this is even more the case. At the end of the day, don't miss the forest for the trees by trying to shoot first. Build your accuracy and precision up first before focusing on speed. The next tip is for those of you who train flicks way too often, but is general for every type of aiming, and that's a problem with specialization. Aiming as a whole requires a mix of all types of aim, and even if a game like Valorant with low kill time rewards quick, accurate adjustments over continuous tracking, the reality is everything builds upon each other. So if you specialize too hard on one type of aim specifically, you'll actually stagnate if you don't bring the other aiming techniques up to speed. Building a strong foundation is crucial, so you don't want to let certain parts of your aim be built with sand while others with stone. But at the same time, you don't want to train general aim because it gives you less improvement than focusing on weaknesses and building them up. Luckily for us, we have aim trainers like AimLab that can not only locate your weaknesses and track your progress, but also has an awesome selection of scenarios that can help you train specific parts of your aim. AimLab also has tons of pro-created playlists that are awesome for training like the pros, and Valorant has even partnered with AimLab to make scenarios tailored to gamers like us. So if you haven't already, make sure to download AimLab by clicking the link in the description. If you're a grinder like me, I'm sure you've had times where you spent a little too much time training your aim and then entered a game only to shoot like you were boosted 2 divisions higher than your actual rank. Training your aim is a very necessary aspect in building yourself up as a player, but don't let fatigue ruin the day by messing with your actual game time. In fact, if you're fatigued, then you might even develop some bad habits in game or in your training that will take a lot more time to undo. If you're feeling tired when training, consider taking a quick break before starting again, or just calling it there and resting for the time being. I know people, including me, who have trained way too long at some point and ended up with injuries like carpal tunnel or RSI, so don't make the same mistake that we made. Luckily, my carpal tunnel was mild, so I recovered, but you might not be as fortunate. So here's a tip that might not apply to you if you're a beginner or an intermediate, but will definitely become more relevant as you improve as a player, and that's to understand that aim is a large part mental. Yes, muscle memory and fine motor movements are cornerstones of having cracked aim, but there's actually more to aim than just mechanical. In fact, much of what actually leads you to hit a shot is the mental aspect, which is confirming your shot, understanding your adjustment speed at an intuitive level, and building a mental connection with your aim and reaction speed. All of these are very important to building up good aim in-game, so if you're noticing that you're missing shots despite having otherwise good mechanical aim, I would suggest either watching back your gameplay or trying to figure out what part of the missed shot was physical mistakes and which part was mental. But like I said, this is only something that becomes more relevant as you become advanced at aiming, but it never hurts to get a head start. This is one of those insights that only come to top-level players that's hard to explain to people at lower levels, so if you don't get it at the moment, don't sweat it too much. This next tip ties in with a couple of the last tips, like how aim is mental and how overtraining is your enemy, but is more of a practical solution to a whole lot of issues that come up when players try to train their aim, or anything really. Now that you know that aim is mental, you probably also realize that your mental state at any given moment is also very indicative of how you'll likely aim and how comfortable you'll be. That's why when you're tilted, you just can't seem to win a fight, and when you're hot off an eco ace, you feel like a god and you start to play like one too. That being said, being well rested is a huge factor in keeping yourself mentally checked in during games and practice, and one hugely important contributor to that is obviously to get enough sleep. And yeah, I know, we're Valorant players. We probably don't have the best sleep schedules. But if you're serious about improving, then consider taking your sleep seriously so that you can wake up each day feeling ready to conquer your games. Not only will this help you train effectively, but it'll also help improve your mental in games as well, something that we all desperately need when playing ranked. So for those of you who care more about aim training than your homework or studies in school, one cool and underrated tip that can help you a ton over the long run is to train right before you sleep. Sleep is more than just rest. It's a time where your brain consolidates all of the information it gained during the day and stores it into your memory. And in the process of doing so, you'll naturally improve in whatever you did during that day. But of course, we don't keep everything we learn each day, because sometimes you'll be tired, or maybe you'll lose a portion of it because you learned it earlier in the day, so it's easier to forget. That's why you'll naturally retain more of what happens right before you sleep, which is also why you should try to train your aim right before sleeping. Not only will this help you build more muscle memory, you'll also be able to push yourself harder because you'll be resting soon afterwards. But of course, the goal isn't to be dead tired and then train and then sleep, of course. Make sure you're still awake when doing so. Over the long run, this will help you improve at a much faster rate. So you've gotten into a routine and you're starting to feel good while doing your aim training. Good. But you're also feeling like you're stagnating a little bit, as each session feels less productive and you're getting a little too comfortable. Not so good. One thing you always need to do while training your aim or improving in game is to limit test yourself from time to time. Whether it's to challenge yourself to hit a goal score that seemed out of reach before, or to take your aim into the game and push your limits by making bolder plays, you need to find ways to check your progress from a practical standpoint. AimLab has a great way to track your improvement over time, but I would say that above that, you want to make training a challenge by setting some lofty goals. You can even motivate yourself by assigning a reward to achieving it or bragging to a friend or something. But one thing is for sure, you have to break past your limits to take that fast track to improving aim. One thing that I said in our last video about going from gold to immortal in 10 minutes is to practice visualization, because it helps you reflect on situations and also gain new perspectives on how to approach certain scenarios. This can be applied to aim as well, and that can be easily achieved by becoming more aware of aim as a whole. Just like how if you're watching someone for their crosshair placement, you'll notice more of the crosshair placement in game, watch yourself and pro players and try to focus on the aim, and how they aim in certain spots or how they make adjustments. By having a picture of what good aim looks like, you can get a better picture of what your goal is when aiming, and you can notice more of your own flaws when trying to train. NVA said this before too, and I think it's something that can make a huge difference for your aim training journey. So this tip sort of ties into the mental aspect of aim and is a great trait to build in your gameplay, and that is confidence is key. When you take aim duels, I'm sure you've noticed too that it's really hard to win a fight sometimes if you're feeling uncomfortable or hesitant in your aim. Confidence plays a big part in speeding up the mental process of aim because not only are you comfortable while shooting, you also bypass that moment of hesitation that makes you confirm whether you're actually hitting your shot or not. Obviously, this has downsides if you're taking a fight that you're at a disadvantage in simply because you're too confident, but confidence in general is a great buff to your aim that is something every player should aim to achieve. It's hard to build strong confidence, but if you can't manage, at least shoot for comfortability first. You want to remove hesitation from your shot at the very least, as hesitation and self-doubt is a killer when playing, and even training. Okay, so this might sound contradictory to everything I just said before, but I think it's something that every person trying to improve should hear. Just do it. All these tips are hugely beneficial to your growth as they can help you train faster, but don't take it the wrong way. You still have to put in the work. And that also means that if you were to compare doing 30 minutes of aim training while tired compared to no aim training at all, you should be doing that 30 minutes of aim training. I have the belief that all aim training is helpful in some way, so even if you're not at your 100%, you should still be training and giving it your best shot. At the end of the day, it's not about using the best possible methods, but more about having the dedication to put in the effort and then finding ways to perfect your approach. So if you thought that these tips were meant to tell you that you can't train unless under perfect circumstances where you're well rested, not overtrained, and training right before you sleep, then you've got it twisted. And with that said, hopefully now you have a better idea of how to train more effectively and reach your goals quicker than before. Aim training is a long process, but when done right, every step feels rewarding and fun, and I want you to do it the right way. It's been Royal G, and good luck on the grind.